Hi, it's been a while. I hope you've all enjoyed the holiday season and are looking forward to a brand new year. It's been a while since I've uploaded, so I thought I'd bring back one of the channel's old favourites, the haul. And whilst I've been cutting down quite a lot on how much I've purchased, there's still been a few bits here and there, and we've just had Christmas, so I'm going to go over all the things I've picked up over the course of probably the last 6 months. Let's get straight into it. I feel like it's a good idea to probably start off with the manga, but the manga purchases have been so minimal in the last couple of months. I actually only bought 3 things, and all 3 of them were bought while I was on holiday in Sicily, and they are Italian variants of manga. Starting off with the biggest new thing and one of my favourite series from the last couple of years, which is Dandadan. This edition has this super cool slip cover with kind of this silvery rainbow lenticular on it. It's awesome, and I had to pick it up. And then the other thing that I have been absolutely addicted to recently is One Piece, and Italy have these really cool celebratory editions which are around the 100th volume. They are volume 98 and volume 99, and once again they come with this really cool slipcover. They also come with a collectible poster, and if you put them together they make an image. It's really cool. I've never seen anything like this before, so when I saw it in Italy I had to pick it up. And shock horror, that is all of the manga. However, I did buy another comic book recently because I've been trying to branch out slightly, and that is All-Star Superman. I'm just over halfway through this at the moment, and I'll be doing a video on my thoughts on a couple of Superman comics that I've been checking out in the next couple of months. This is one of the DC compact editions, so it's kind of this smaller form book, and it is really nice to read. It feels nice in the hand. I definitely recommend these editions for someone getting into comics that wants a cheaper alternative. You all know that I absolutely love buying pre-owned stuff, going into charity shops, going to boot sales, or just scouring used bookstores to try and find the best deals. And recently I've been picking up a fair few pre-owned books. So all of these I've picked up in the last couple of months from charity shops, and we're going to start off with Ben Aronovich, Rivers of London. This is a book that I've heard a lot about. It sounds really interesting and I wanted to check it out. It's part of a series, so it's not going to get read anytime soon because of my new reading rules, but this does look really interesting. I've seen it before and passed up on it, so I had to pick this one up, and it was only 50p, so you can't really say no. Next up is Circe or Cirque or Cirque by Madeline Miller. This is the author of Song of Achilles, which is another book that I really want to read. Again, I saw it in the charity shop, so I thought might as well pick it up. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is a sci-fi book that I have heard so much about. Once again, 99p, how can you pass it up? And I've just heard amazing things about it. I believe it's not part of a series, but I'm not 100% sure. And this year I want to branch out more into sci-fi, so I thought this was a really good place to start doing that. If you're watching this channel, you probably like reading. And if you like reading, then you probably need things to read. Well, I've got just the site for you, Sci-Fire. Sci-Fire is an absolutely wonderful bookstore that specializes in sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, and of course, manga. I've been using them for absolutely ages because they not only have great pricing but also fantastic customer service and top-notch packaging. Like, look at this. If you want to use Sci-Fi yourself, you can head down to the link in the description and use the code NERDLOUNGE for 5% off every order. So get yourself some books, get yourself a discount, and support the channel at the same time. Back to the video. Next up, we've got Mortal Engines, which is a book that I read when I was a kid. I thought this was a really cool cover, so I just picked it up. Next up, we've got a book that's gonna surprise a lot of people, but that is Fourth Wing. Now, I'm gonna have more to say about this in my next video, which is going over all the books I've read in 2024. Fourth Wing came as a massive surprise for me, and yeah, I can't wait to talk to you more about it. Next up is Gideon the Ninth, another fantasy book that I have heard a lot about. Nothing to do with the plot, just to do with how good it is and how different it is. I know that it tackles different kind of subject matter to other books. It's not your normal grounded Lord of the Rings style fantasy, so I'm looking forward to giving this a go. It was also on a list recently for like the most influential books of the 21st century, I believe, and yeah, that's why I heard of it and picked it up. The next 3 books are books that I'm really looking forward to, and I was so excited to pick up from charity shops. The first of which is Promise of Blood, which is the first book in the Powder Mage trilogy. Now, a lot of people in the community that read the same kind of books that I do and like the same kind of books that I do recommend this to a fault. I am really looking forward to picking this up and reading it. It's gunpowder fantasy, which is something that really interests me, and I just can't wait to see how they handle the subject matter and the general gist of a gunpowder fantasy story. In top place for my number 1 most anticipated book that I picked up is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this book. It's short, it's a standalone, it's exactly what I'm looking for at the moment, and after I've finished my current book, this is the next up on the list. I cannot wait to read this, and I was so excited when I found it in the wild. And the final charity shop pickup, which just came as an absolute shock, is Jade War by Fonda Lee. This is a hardback edition and it is signed. I did pay £10 for this at a charity shop, but this is just so cool to find just out of nowhere. I cannot wait to read this. These are my upcoming audiobook listens that I'm going to be doing, the whole of the Jade trilogy, and they just sound amazing. It's gangster fantasy. It sounds a little bit more modernized than what I'm used to, and I've just heard amazing things about it. I cannot wait to get into this, and I thought this was a really cool homage to what is hopefully going to be one of my favorite series. Okay, next up we're going to go through some bookstore new book purchases. Starting off with the newest book by M.L. Wang, author of The Sword of Kaigan, which we'll touch on later, which is Blood over Brighthaven. Now, I wanted to pick this up the day it came out. I haven't read Sword of Kaigan yet because I only just got it. This just looks really cool. It's a cool edition. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like this author. I've heard nothing but good things. It's got sprayed edges. It's a signed edition. It's a hardback. I had to pick this up the day it came out. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to picking this up. But I'm not going to read it until after Sword of Kaigan. I want to finish that first. But Blood over Brighthaven just sounds like a really interesting. I'm pretty sure it's dark academia fantasy. I'm looking forward to it. One of my favorite shops in the entire country is a place called Magazine Heaven in Wellingborough, and every time I go there I buy a nice special edition of a book. And the last time I went, I bought H.P. Lovecraft's The Cthulhu Mythos, and this is again a really cool edition. It's got shiny edges, it's got shiny front cover, and I've read a little bit of this. I don't know whether I like H.P. Lovecraft's writing style. It's not exactly for me, but I need to give more of the stories a chance. I've read about 4 or 5. I just need to really get into it. I'm trying to read more kind of old fantasy and sci-fi as opposed to just modern stuff, and H.P. Lovecraft is just a household name, so I want to try and get this whole book read at some point, but it's not high up on my TBR. A couple of months ago I went to a book signing for John Gwyn's new book The Fury of the Gods, which I'm going to show you in a second. But while I was there was another author called C.L. Clarke, and she was talking about her new book. They were doing kind of a interview format thing, and she sounded really interesting. I wanted to meet her, so I picked up her newest book, which is called The Faithless, and this is book 2 in her Magic of the Lost series. It sounds really interesting. Obviously I haven't got book 1 yet, but I am going to be picking it up, and I got this signed by her. She was really amazing to meet. It was a proper privilege to meet her, and I'm looking forward to picking this up soon. Speaking of that signing, I of course picked up Fury of the Gods. If you're a fan of the channel and a fan of watching my fantasy book stuff on the channel, you know already I really like this series. I've finished this book now, and I'll have my thoughts on it in a later video, but it was really cool to meet John Gwyn. I feel like he's an absolute inspiration. The way that this book has been finished and was written is really kind of inspiring, and there was a good chance this was never going to get finished. I'm really glad that I got this. I picked it up. I got all of my John Gwyn books signed, so all 3 of the Bloodsworn Saga and all 4 of the Faithful and the Fallen. Is that his series? I can't actually remember. Malice and all of those books. I can't remember the series name. But yeah, I got everything signed. It was really, really good to meet him. And I also met the brothers Gwyn as well, which was brilliant. My dream has always been to turn this YouTube thing into my full-time job. And the first step to doing that is going to be to hire an editor. So for you guys that are enjoying the content and want a way to help support the growth of this channel, I've created a Patreon with the aim to spend all the money on hiring an editor and bringing more higher quality content to you guys. However, I think it's wrong to just ask you for money. So I've created some rewards specifically for Patreon members as a way to say thank you. So if you like the content and you want to support me, you can head over to the Patreon now. I love you all. Thanks. As you can probably guess, recently it was Christmas, and again, as you can probably guess, I did ask for some books for Christmas. I really wanted to focus on getting books that I really wanted to read, and in specific editions that I really wanted to own. And the first thing I got was the 10th anniversary edition of Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This book sounds extremely interesting. I've watched the movie, I've heard amazing things about the series, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. And it has just a dope cover, and the whole series is now in these covers, so I'm going to be collecting them like that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. Again, it's pretty short, so it's going to be one of those palate cleanser reads that I can fit in between some of the absolute chonkers that I'm going to be reading this year. Next up is another book that I'm hoping and praying lives up to all of the expectations I have for it, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now, I've watched The Martian. I know the book is slightly different, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this book. I'm going in completely blind. I have no idea what it's about other than that it is obviously sci-fi, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. It comes with the highest recommendations, so this is going to be a really cool sci-fi one to pick up. For Christmas, me and my girlfriend decided to do a little book kind of swap thing where we both made lists and picked a book from each list to buy for both of us, and we're going to do kind of a buddy read with them. And from my list, she picked Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I'm really looking forward to reading this because I read Recursion by Blake Crouch this year, and oh my god, I was enthralled by it, and I have just heard that this is better. I cannot wait for this. The beginning of the year is so stacked with stuff that I just want to read, and I'm gonna have to really try hard to pick a list of what I'm gonna read in what order. I can't wait. And off of her list, I picked up If We Were Villains, and this is the 5th anniversary illustrated edition. Again, it's a really nice hardback edition, and from what I know about this is it's sort of a murder mystery style thing with Shakespearean inspired characters, and it sounds really interesting. I'm looking forward to giving it a go, and this is just going to be something that's a little bit different to what I normally read, which is kind of the aim of what we did for Christmas. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I already mentioned this earlier in the video, but yes, I finally picked up The Sword of Kaigen. I got this for Christmas, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. I absolutely love Japan. I absolutely love feudal era works, and this is basically samurais and magic. Oh, I cannot wait. I've heard it's not similar, but kind of similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of my favorite series of all time, and oh, I just can't wait. It is so hard to not start reading this immediately, but I have so much on my list that I need to finish off first. Ugh. Just sitting there on the shelf. It's calling to me. It's getting read soon. Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. Probably my most anticipated read of 2025. And finally, for my Christmas gifts, this is one of the coolest things that I got, and I specifically picked out this edition because I just think the cover is amazing. It's Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruccio. Oh my god, this series is blowing up. Everyone I watch is talking about it. Everyone I watch is loving it, and it was time. It was time to pick it up. It's a big ask because I believe there's 5 or 6 books, chunky books. I'm so excited for this, and this cover is just awesome. It's purple, it's my favorite color, and it also just looks like Destiny, like the game Destiny. And oh, Sword of Kaigen's my most anticipated, but this is up there too. I'm really looking forward to getting into this series finally. It's about time. 2025 is going to be filled with chunky books. This isn't really a fantasy book, but if you know anything about me, you know that I absolutely adore Arcane. It's one of, if not, my favorite TV shows of all time. So of course, I had to get the Arcane art book, and I am thrilled to own this. I can't wait to really go through it and deep dive it, because Arcane is honestly one of the most magnificent pieces of art I have ever consumed in my entire life. It is an amazing show, amazing story, and the creation of it is astounding. And oh my god, I can't wait to read more about it. And last but certainly not least, every single year I buy myself a little Christmas present for myself, and this year it came from the Broken Binding. I've never bought anything from Broken Binding before, and they come all gift wrapped. It's so wonderful. So I'm gonna unbox these and show you. So there was a book that I read early in this year that I really thought I wasn't going to enjoy, and instead I absolutely fell in love with. And since then I've been on the lookout for the original edition of it with the original artwork, and Broken Binding had, I think it was a Black Friday sale, and I managed to get these for £40 for both of them. The series is Legends and Lattes, and this cover is just encompasses what this story is about so much, and I had to get it. And I also obviously got Bookshops and Bone Dust. This is what they both look like. They've got really cool sprayed edges, hardcover editions. Legends and Lattes quickly became one of my favorite books that I've ever read. It was just so enjoyable, so easy to consume, and just I blazed through it. I absolutely loved it, and this is the best way to show appreciation for that book, is getting really nice hardcover editions of it. I'm so excited to own these, and it was definitely a great Christmas present for myself. And guys, that's it for today's haul. Obviously not as much stuff as I used to buy, but quite a lot of focus on books at the moment. When you have this much manga, you tend to not need to buy as much, and I really need to get to reading this, so I kind of banned myself from buying manga, hence the very small amount. But now it's your turn. I want you to let me know down in the comments, number one, what you thought of my haul, and number two, what you've been hauling over the Christmas period or over just the last couple of months. Let me know some things you picked up, some of the coolest things that you've found. I love talking with you guys down in the comments. It's my favorite part of this YouTube thing, so yeah, head down there. And while you're down there, you can also like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be alerted every single time that I upload. And if you want to support the channel in a monetary way, you can either use my affiliate link to Sci-Fi, where you can buy yourself some books or manga and help the channel at the same time, or you can check out my Patreon, where I have some exclusive rewards for paying members. You get my videos early and without ads, and it really helps me put money back into the channel to do more cool stuff. And last but certainly not least, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to check out another one, I've got one on the left and right of me. They're recommended just for you. But if you're done for the day, then I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.